Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're doing well. I wanted to do a quick video for you guys as I've been having numerous conversations with people about this topic. And I wanted to talk to you about what you can be doing right now with your finances and how you can be preparing through this time in this season of uncertainty and difficulty and challenges. And there's a couple things that you can do, and a lot of organizations out there that are doing this. So here's some things to start thinking about. First of all, I want you to take a pen and paper and I want you to write down all of the expenses that you pay for monthly. So a lot of those things are going to include like a car payment, mortgage, those types of things, right? And I want you guys then to write down next to them a need and then a want, okay? And what this is going to do is it's going to help you prepare for what you need to do moving forward in this season. So for example, with mortgages right now, there's a lot of lenders out there that are extending mortgage payments for the next month or two. So what you want to do is call that mortgage company that you're with and find out if you can defer that payment without any penalties moving into the next month or the following month. That could potentially save you a mortgage payment for this month. Same thing you want to do with your car payments. I just got a text message from a buddy this morning, and he said, man, I was able to move my car payments back 2 months with no penalties. So what you want to start doing is looking at these things, such as your car payments, your mortgage. Even credit card companies are doing this where you don't have to make a credit card payment. And what you want to start doing is seeing what are the companies that I could potentially call to maybe defer some of those payments to free up some more income for me during this hardship and during this time. And so start thinking about that a little bit. The other thing that I want you to do, and maybe this is a great time to do it, especially if you're a small business owner or you're somebody else that's running finances for another organization or company, but you can also do this for your home as well. Start making a list of everything that you pay for throughout the months, including like cable, including clothes, including all those things that you think that you spend roughly around the same amount for every single month or that are auto debited. That's a good way to kind of follow that. And then start marking off to yourself, like, do I need this or do I want this? And you'll be able to really quickly see what the things are that you can get rid of right now, and then what the things are that you actually need to actually pay for. Does that make sense? So you've got your needs and you've got your wants. And so we've done this for years, like with our family. And, a lot of people think we're crazy right now because we don't pay for cable. But cable was one of those things where we were like, cable isn't necessarily something that we need. It's just something that we may have wanted. And so we got rid of it, and come to find out, we don't really care that we have it or not. Like, we've got other things that we use, such as Hulu and some of these other things that we use instead. And so those are the things that you want to start looking at. Is there ways that I can decrease some of my expenses, right? Some of my payments per month in order to help free me up some more money during this time? Are there some other places that I can maybe possibly defer some of those payments without any penalties? Listen, if there's penalties, I don't want you guys to defer those unless you absolutely have to. But just some ideas to start thinking about, as we go through this time of uncertainty and as we're trying to save some money. Maybe you're someone that's saving up for a down payment on your house. This could be a way to do that, right, in this time, even though times are slow and times are uncertain at this time, but you want to potentially get there during the long run. So again, ways that I wanted to basically start helping you and things that I do in my business. Listen, I do a P&L every single month. For those of you that don't know, it's a profit and loss. So I'm able to see how much money came in every month, and I'm able to see what money went out every month, right? In my personal life, I've got like cash envelopes, and I've got things that like every single month when a paycheck comes in, there's a percentage that goes into these certain accounts, right? So when I get paid, it's not necessarily that whole check is going into my checking account and is going to be just spent or it's there to use. Like, it goes into specific places, right? So what I do is I take a percentage of every single paycheck that comes in through my business, and it goes into specific things. So for example, I have a thing called the Vault, and that's my savings account, right? So out of every paycheck that comes in, 3%, I put percentages with these. I can share all these things with you if you want. Comment below, message me, I'll give those to you. But basically what has helped me with my business, it allows me to tell my money where it's going to go. A lot of us don't have any control over that. We don't know where our money goes. We get to the end of the month and we're like, man, I made this much money, but then what happened to it, right? We got to do a better job. And I think this time actually is teaching us how to do a better job with our finances, right? I think a lot of us, as I've talked to people, they're like, man, I didn't realize how much I ate out every single month. I didn't realize how much I went and was entertained at the movie theater or all these other places every single time. This time allows you, and this strategy allows you to take a look at that and be like, how can we take a step back and start saving a little bit more money? And then what percentage should we be taking out and putting into specific accounts and things like that? So here's what my steps of advice are going to be for you and what has worked for us. Thanks to a shout out to Dave Ramsey, because we're a fan of that. I also read a book. If you want to read a book during this time, it's called Profit First. And that has completely changed the way I do business and finances with my business. And so it's allowed me to build this structure out. So here's the first couple things that I'm going to advise you to do and start thinking about. One is to make that list of all of your expenses right now. And then after you make that list, I want you to basically put next to it, is this a need or a want, right? Is this something that I need or is it something that I want? And then you can start going through that list and checking some things off that maybe necessarily are wants that you don't necessarily need right now, that now you can go cancel, and that you can now free up some more cash for that. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to work towards, a step one, which is basically like putting $1,000 in emergency savings. If you've got a family of 2 or more, I would say you want to try to shoot for $2,500 to $5,000. That's at least what we try to do, is we want to put some money away so when an emergency happens, right, that money's available. So what are emergencies? Things like flat tires, things like you've got a surgery that comes up. Those are types of emergencies. Your transmission goes out. Like, that's where you would want to dip into that money and use it for that specific purpose. And when you do use it, here's what you have to remember. You have to be disciplined enough to then go back and continue to put money back into that once it reaches that point of whether that's the $2,500, $5,000, whatever. You're not going to go spend any more money or buy anything until you replenish that savings account, okay? So that's the step one. You want to get to that certain point where you just know that there's enough. For us, we've got, there's a family of 6. We've got 4 kids. So like 5 to 10 grand in that savings account is probably what should be in there. And so that's what we're going to try to work towards and get there, because we just know that with that many kids, there can be so many things that could pop up and could happen. And in most cases, emergencies are going to be able to cover that, right? Okay. Then the next thing that I want you to start thinking about is putting 3 to 6 months of your pay in another savings account. Now, this could take some time to do, right? I'm not expecting you to do this right away, but again, it goes back to those percentages. Like, take those percentages and start putting those into that account with every paycheck that comes in, and eventually it'll start building itself up and getting there. The other thing that you want to start doing is focusing on paying down your debt. We call it debt snowball. I think Dave Ramsey calls it debt snowball. There's other people that have different names for it, but basically the point is you want to basically free yourself up from all the debt that you possibly can in your life, right? And so it might be starting off with paying off that student loan, or paying off that car, or paying off whatever it is. But what I want you to do is start looking at, okay, making a list again, a separate list of what's all of our debts and what do those add up to be, and then how are we going to start working towards paying those things off. Again, percentages, right? So it's not overwhelming to start thinking about like, oh my goodness, we've got $20,000 of credit card debt. Well, let's work on percentages from every paycheck, right? That's going to go towards an extra payment or towards extra to get that down. That's the goal, and that's why they call it a debt snowball, because once you get one of those debts paid off, right, then you move into the next snowball or the next debt, which then snowballs what you were paying on that debt now is taken and going into the other debt. So now it's almost like a double payment or more onto that payment, and that's going to help pay that thing off faster, okay? So those are the things that you want to start thinking about. Hopefully this has kind of helped out. I can kind of go into more details on this further into the future, and I probably will, but I just got to thinking, today, especially with everything that's going on and the uncertainty out there, what are some ways that you can start saving some money now, even if there's no other income coming in? And those are some ideas that you can start doing, is start making that list of those expenses and then start getting rid of some of those expenses that you don't need, and start calling some of those places to potentially defer some of those places later so that you don't have to make a payment this month on those things. And then you can take that money and you can put it into a savings account or something like that. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I hope that you find some sense of relief and some sense of hope in it. I know that we're all going through some difficult times here, and I know that finances are a huge part of that as well. But I just want to encourage you guys, we're going to get through this thing. We're going to get to the point where we eventually start to see it come back up. But in the meantime, right, let's be strategic, let's be wise, let's be smart, let's be disciplined with our finances and where we're at. And let's be real with each other, right? Let's be real with ourselves on where we're at financially. And then what steps do we need to start taking to get to the place where we can potentially start saving some of that money? So again, guys, comment below. Let me know if there's other areas that you want me to speak on as regards to this. I'm not a financial advisor. I will be the first one to tell you that. I'm just sharing with you the experiences that we've had, some of the things that I've read, and some of the things that I've started implementing into my own business to help you in your personal life or your business as well. So again, there's probably a lot more in-depth conversations and questions that need to be asked. And if there are, that's where I would, highly recommend talking to like one of your financial advisors or CPA or someone like that would speak into that a little bit more. But on the top of the surface stuff, I can eventually add and share some of those things of what I've done personally and in my business. I'm more than happy to do that. Again, I love being a book and I'm transparent and raw with you. I'm not afraid to do that. So again, I'm able to share some of those things with you, and hopefully this has encouraged you a little bit. But just wanted to challenge you guys with that today. Hopefully encourage you a little bit, and again, have some hope, because we're getting through it. We're riding the storm. The calm is coming. Just hang in there. Continue to do what you need to do, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you guys out. Happy to do that. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.